Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard is facing some more legal troubles. She is facing an eviction, her and her boyfriend. So this is kind of personal troubles. You think she's making close to or a little bit over $300,000 a year. Her boyfriend, Kamala Woods, is making about $100,000 a year. You think they will have enough to pay their rent. But my radar goes off. This is something more is in this story that we don't know about. Okay, so we'll discuss that today. Also, there was an ICE report over the immigration illegals that's actually coming into our country, and it reveals some very shocking information about illegals, undocumented illegal aliens. Okay, the people that they just letting come over here. So we'll discuss what those numbers look like. And also Tim Walz was in the news. I guess he's bringing joy back into the White House, but it's really showing his true colors. I believe he's just like Kamala Harris. Fake, okay? Fake. And he's a liar. Okay, so we'll talk more about that on today's episode of Business Talk, so you guys stay tuned.
Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad.
You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. Please put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Justin Thompson in the building. Hello to you. Celeste Hodges, hello from Texas. You see that CEO of Project 2025 endorsed Kamala. How's she going to spend that? I do not know. Kennard the DJ, Chawanne, what is good? Happy Monday to you. Justin Thompson, when people understand that Project 2025 was written about 400 different scholars orchestrated by the Heritage Foundation and Trump has nothing to do with it, the better. Okay. Yeah. And they're still trying to attach this Project 2025 on that. And they even said J.D. Vance was a co-author of one of those, or the architect of Project 2025. Not for sure, but the latest version that's out there, I couldn't find J.D. Vance one name in there as co-author or the collaborator or anything. So anyway, that's what they got to hold on to just to make Trump is bad. Okay, we got to make Trump look bad, and we have to make Kamala Harris, she's our savior. She's going to bring joy back into the White House, but we know it's a bunch of BS. Kennard the DJ is saying, I think Tiff money is going up her nose. She moves like a dope fiend. That might be true. I think something is really up with Tiffany Henyard, because it is pretty unfortunate that number one, we know you stole about $6 million. We know you stole about $6 million from the village of Dalton. We don't know where the money's at. It didn't go on the checks that they said to approve. Those checks was sitting on somebody's desk. I guess the lady that cut the checks, she never mailed them out. It was sitting on somebody's desk, about $6 million worth of checks. And so we know they're in a $3.5 million deficit. And then when you took over, they had about $2.5 million in the bank in this just one account at the village of Dalton. So we know for a fact that money was stolen by you. Okay. So it's unfortunate that you don't know how to manage your finances. So you don't know how to manage the village finances, and you don't know how to manage your own finances. Anyway, but you got a law degree or a business degree. Come on now. Kennard the DJ, he says, unfortunately, I am from Chicago. Okay. Kenya Brown, what is good? Hello, everyone from Charleston, South Carolina. Thank you for tuning in. Greetings, Strawberry. Strawberry is viewing from Illinois. I see we have Honey Bee from Richmond, Virginia. What is good? Artists, hi from Indiana. Oh, we have Flint, Michigan in the building. Old Gamer, what up, though? Justin Thompson says, good morning again. Yes, you tuned into my other, you guys, if you don't know, I have another podcast on my Chawanne Burns 2.0 unpopular opinion. I do have a co-host and a co-producer, and her name is Super Producer. That's what she goes by. But tune in Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the morning. We try to start around 9 o'clock, but it's usually between 9 and 9:30. That's typically our start time. So go over there to that channel, just Chawanne Burns 2.0, and subscribe to that channel and check out what we talked about this morning. It was Tiffany Henyard, and we also touched on Sean Puffy Combs. Okay, anger mismanagement, is always great to see you. Virtue to yourself. Hi from California. Thank you for tuning in. Luella Mitchell. Hi, Luella. I haven't seen you in a while, but thank you for tuning in. Still voting for President Trump. Trump 2024. Anthony Shapiro, what's up from North Cal? It's good to see you. And Justin is saying again, is Tiffany Henyard and Kamal moving back in with her since she's been evicted from her home? That would be interesting to see. But I think before Tiffany got with Kamal, I think she was living with her mom. I'm not for sure, but I'm not in Dalton, so I'm not for sure. Don't get me the line. Luella Mitchell is hello from Florida. Is she a DEI hire? Tiffany Henyard, no, but I think she was elected because identity politics. But if we're talking about Kamala Harris, yeah, totally. Kamala Harris is a total DEI hire, and she shouldn't be in office. Only reason why Kamala Harris is VP today, because remember, I covered this story a couple of times. Remember, we had Angela Rye and other political commentators threatening Joe Biden, hey, he better elect a black VP or we're walking away. They gave him an ultimatum, Joe Biden. And so he came up with Kamala Harris. I guess she was the best person for the ticket. The one with the most experience, I guess. So Kamala Harris ended up getting that job. And we could see Kamala Harris, since Kamala Harris wasn't like that known, we've seen her in some Senate hearings where she was giving, remember Donald Trump appointed that one guy and they said he has some type of sexual abuse scandal back in his college days. I forget, but he was a justice. You guys put it in the chat. I forget what the guy's name. Can't think of his name right now. But we saw him. That's how she actually came to the scene. We saw her, firing off questions to him. And that's when she came up with that famous phrase, I'm speaking, don't cut me off. I'm speaking. I'm reclaiming my time. So that's how she was known in the media. And then since now everybody is starting to focus on Kamala Harris, and we now realize like Kamala Harris is nothing special. She's not smart. She's handled the border czar horribly. And she went to the actual border just this weekend, and they said she spent about 20 minutes at the border, and not even at the main border. It was like somewhere off, She didn't talk to none of the border patrol or anything like that. She talked to like some of the administration office staff, but she didn't really talk to anybody. So things that's being revealed about Kamala Harris, now we're starting to see Kamala Harris is not that special. She is really is nothing to be phoning home about. Like, oh, we got this such a great leader and great president or vice president. She's going to change the world. No, she's not like that. I believe she's no Gretchen Whitmer, even though I don't agree with Gretchen Whitmer politics. I don't think she's that. I put her on the same line as what's the guys who pulled the fire alarm? I put her on the same line as that, kind of goofy, nothing really smart, bringing anything to the table. If she does bring something to the table, they're really, really bad ideas. Okay. You guys might be mad at me for saying that, but Kamala Harris has really bad ideas. Okay. Her economic policies, the things that she's trying to stick it to the rich billionaires, is going to directly affect everyday citizens. Okay. And I don't want to keep on talking about that. Let's get on to our first story of our Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard, of course, she was just in the news because Tiffany is this what I want to do? No, that's not what I want to do. Tiffany was just in the news because Tiffany, it was revealed that she is facing eviction for a property, and that her and Kamal Woods is on the lease for. Now, some people are saying, is this a sublease or what kind of lease is this? I really don't know. But whatever it is, you should have enough money to pay. They're 3 months behind, so probably around $1,100 a month. You make $300,000 a year. You can't pay $1,100 a month. It's either because Tiffany got her hands in so much things she can't keep stuff straight, or she just a bad financial manager. She don't know what's going on. Now, this is Newsmax or News Nation, and I just queued it up to the place where I want them to talk. Let me make sure you can see it. And you guys make sure you put in the chat whether or not you could hear this, because for some reason, this thing, sometimes it is janky. Janky. And I don't know why you could hear the sound sometimes and sometimes you can't.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard of Dalton, she's been accused of using taxpayer money on lavish trips to Las Vegas, luxury vehicles, just last month throwing a street party, and now she's been accused of not paying her rent.
It's your super mayor, Tiffany Henyard, the people's mayor.
Fresh off a new controversy over this street party, the self-proclaimed super mayor, dubbed nationwide as the worst mayor in the country, may soon be homeless. A new court filing shows she's been served an eviction notice for failing to pay back rent to the tune of $3,350. The eviction notice states that Henyard and her boyfriend were informed on September 18th about their overdue rent and were given 5 days to vacate the property. Henyard's lawyer says, quote, "This is a claim brought under false pretenses. It's just the latest challenge for the embattled mayor of the village of just more than 20,000 people."
So I'm just going to pause it right there. Her lawyer spoke out and said these are false pretenses. Okay, so is it false pretenses that she signed this contract to move into this house? Or is it false pretenses that your client, and you said you're not representing her criminally. I'm assuming this is Bo Brentley speaking out, but your client, she actually paid her rent and the landlord got it all mixed up. They gave her 5 days for her and Kamal to leave, to vacate the premises. I somebody put in a chat, what's the false pretense? Because I'm kind of confused. Because if I was a landlord, I would know if you paid rent or not, especially if I'm missing 3 months.
Time this board sells you off of fake news, which is they come out and they film things and they put our community in a bad light.
Since the beginning of the year, she's been locked in a battle with the Board of Trustees over accusations she misused taxpayer money to pay for lavish, first-class trips to Las Vegas, overpaying for security detail, and not paying city vendors. The Illinois Attorney General is also investigating the mayor's cancer charity over allegations all of its donations came from taxpayer funds.
So she's mixed up in a whole bunch of nonsense. I mean, I pulled her court records up, and Tiffany Henyard is facing so many, what do you call it? So many court cases. So many lawsuits are filed against her. And I'm not surprised about this, but when are you going to say this is enough? Let me just hang out in the background, lay low for a minute. But it seemed like you love the chaos. It's one thing after another. I don't know how a person could actually deal with that kind of stuff. You think she would be the one that would say, hey, I'm tired of being in the news. I want to step back and take a step back and just take a break from all this nonsense. But no, you don't want to do that. You love being in the limelight. You think you're famous. So this is what I pulled up. Let me see. Oh, it is thinking about it. This is all the court cases and these are just civil cases that Tiffany Henyard is named in Cook County. It's churning, but it's a lot. She's facing a lot of civil cases, and this whole list it has to do with the Village of Dalton and Thornton Township, and it's also personally naming her. So these are personal lawsuits. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 34 lawsuits. Now, these are just civil suits that's pending. And some of these are not pending against her. Some of this stuff is old. She has something in here from 2012. I see some bank card sued her, or a bank. Looks like equity loan. They sued her. Maybe she filed for bankruptcy back in the day, but the most recent lawsuit was for the claim of her being evicted. Okay. And of course, Tiffany Henyard is going to come out and say, oh no, I don't know nothing about that. I paid my rent. What does it look like don't pay my rent? And I've been, making all this money. What do you take me for, a fool? Can you actually believe that? So it's saying that the eviction notice, it was filed on September the 18th. And, they have the plaintiff on here. And they're saying that the eviction court date is October the 22nd. And they're supposed to go before the Judge Markham. So they're getting evicted. I mean, what more is to explain about this? You're getting evicted. Now, I don't think Tiffany lives at this home. Me and my co-host, super producer, was talking about this morning. We don't think she is actually living at this particular house. We think this house is a trap house because one in the eviction complaint, the lady is saying that Tiffany Henyard or Kamala Woods have not allowed her to come onto the property and search the property to do what you call an inspection. And something that, as a property owner, you probably will put that in your lease. Hey, we would do inspections. We will give you notice, but we will give you inspections periodically to make sure you're not running drugs out of my house or doing some type of illegal activity. So this morning we came to the conclusion, or even last night we came to the conclusion, well, Tiffany is probably running some type of illegal activity out of this house. Okay. And another thing I want to point out, Tiffany doesn't have the circle or the support that she once had. Okay. So whoever was in charge of that operation, maybe they're not in charge of that operation, or she wasn't paying them. Something happened, because why all of a sudden you can't pay $3,300? You get paid every 2 weeks. Even if you get paid monthly, what are your obligations? You only have one child. I don't think you're living in this extravagant lifestyle. I mean, you do have a BMW, but I know that's not taking up $300,000 a month, a year. You're literally making $300,000 a year. Your boyfriend is making $100,000 a year. So you literally have the money. Now, if we go to Facebook, someone posted on Dalton Politics page, and I guess they did a FOIA request in Kamala Woods, the Youth Grant Project, and they posted basically what they spent the money on. Okay, let me just share this tab with you. And some of this stuff don't look right. Okay, to me it doesn't look right. How much are you paying Aaliyah Harris? Aaliyah Harris is making a killing, and they said she's part-time, but she's collecting $3,400. Is this a month? I don't know. Aaliyah Harris is on here several times, and they have this reference number, and whoever put it in the journal, don't know, but it's very suspicious. And then, they have Anthony Butler. Anthony Butler. Are these payments to Anthony Butler? I'm not for sure how they memorialize these accounts or these receipts, because it seemed like I'm not for sure. Are we paying? Is this his salary? Because you have two payments of $3,000 on March the 2nd to Anthony Butler. I mean, it just doesn't make this chart of accounting does not make sense to me. I'm not for sure, but this is this grant project, and they're using money to pay people, I'm assuming. So, and you have other salary on here, other salary people. Brandon Caruso, he was paid in May. He was paid $4,300, and then another $3,000. You see where I'm getting at? Like, are these payments for employment? What are these? And in the journal, let me just go down here. If they have a key in here, no, they don't. Don't have a key. I'm not for sure what's going on. Now, at the bottom, they have paid off scholarships because she did say they give out scholarships and stuff like that. Okay, they've given out scholarships. But, Winter's Dairy LLC, you gave them $10,000. What is that? Who is that? Who is Winter's Dairy LLC? Who owns that company? I'm not for sure. So it's kind of suspicious that these accounts or these, line items from this youth program that Kamal Woods is over, it's not enough information. And, you have to give this to the federal government. You received the grant and they're going to want to know, what did you spend your money on? How did you receive this grant? It's okay. I see. Only reason why I'm saying this stuff is because I've written grants before and they're very specific about the things that you could use it for. If it's for something other than what they said that you could use it for, and if you didn't write it in your budget, they're going to look back at you like, they're not going to say, oh, we want our money back. They're just not going to approve you for other grants. But if they find like it's like a financial crime, if you're scheming, then the authorities might step in. They might step in and say, hey, you're misusing federal dollars on stuff we told you that you could not, and it wasn't on your budget. Okay. So I just want to know, who is this dairy person? I would like to know. Dairy LLC. Who is that? Somebody put in the chat. If you could look up, whoever Winter's Dairy LLC, I would be remiss to see if it's a legitimate, transfer. She has so much going on. Tiffany Henyard has so much going on. I believe she is scheming and funneling money through different programs. And Tiffany is going to be in jail for a very long time. We could keep on looking. The DJ Experience LLC. Remember, the DJ Experience LLC is the people that booked the talent for that $87,000 event. Why would you spend it on that? Another $5,400 for the DJ Experience LLC. Don't know why. Why would you book for that? Then you have a Tennessee $2,500, and then you receive another $2,500. They cancel that payment out. Susan Cabrero at Risk Youth. She's the only one that seems kind of reasonable. Maybe these are 2-week paychecks, so she got $2,900, but it still doesn't make any sense. She got $1,500 one on, and the date. This is what I'm saying. The date doesn't make sense. The period. Okay, I think I get it. The period is the actual posting date. The date they input this information is July the 17th. I guess because somebody probably told him, oh, you need to get your record keeping or your books in order. I'm assuming that's what happened. But a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. Okay, why would you have $2,500 going out to Southern Illinois, and then now you have $2,500 coming back into Southern Illinois? Southern Illinois University. Don't know why. Stephen McCain, they put all his, I'm assuming this is his pay. Now, this makes sense. Stephen McCain, they said March, April, May. Oh, no, February, March, April, May. Stephen McCain, he received about the same amount of money. Safety coordinator, same amount of money for all these months. That makes sense. But the other stuff, like some of this other stuff, doesn't make sense. Did they have a party? Don't know. Why are you paying Robert Hunt Finance Department $5,200? We don't know. We don't know this. Why you? Is he? He's part of the village, so he shouldn't receive a payment from the village, right? Then they have Robert Hunt's wages, R. Hunt wages coming out. They got payroll taxes coming out because of R. Hunt payroll taxes. So Robert Hunt is double dipping. Robert Hunt is the village or township accountant. That's fine. We have this grant under the village accountant. Okay. So are you double dipping into this money to keep their books in order? Why would you put it under Robert Hunt Admin Finance Department? You guys let me know. Maybe I'm going in the wrong direction. That doesn't seem like it's legit. Robert Hunt shouldn't have anything to do with this. And if he does, okay, I have a company, and that would be probably a violation too, because this is a government ran entity. I have a private firm, and I contract through my private firm, and I'll handle the finances. But you're saying you're paying payroll to Robert Hunt for under this youth program? And why wouldn't that be under like the general fund? You guys put in the chat. Let me know if I'm going in the wrong direction. I don't know, but it doesn't pass the smell test. So you have all these questionable entries on these things. Noble Entertainment, $5,500. Then they took out the $5,500. Then they put it back in $5,500. Doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense, you guys. All these employees, Mike K. Miller, they make a pretty decent salary. But all these employees, are they his people? Well, we know Leland Woods might be his people. But are these K. Woods' wages? He's making $11,000 a month. 11/22, he made $7,600. Then another 10/22, he made another $600. Then 12/22, he made $11,000. So what I'm getting at, none of this stuff, some of this stuff doesn't make sense. Okay, some of this stuff doesn't make sense. And when they total up, this is about $1 million that they spent, a little bit over $1 million, $1,116,000 that they spent in the 2-year period. I see some grants going out, but it's mostly, wages that they paid. I will have to see if I could put this into an Excel spreadsheet, convert this into an Excel spreadsheet to see if I could filter some of this stuff. Because I would like to know, what was going on, scholarships, what went to human resources or payments for overhead, and what went for, I guess you want to call it, entertainment. Now, if we're dealing with the youth, I wouldn't say, they can't have, entertainment. Of course, you want to attract youth, so you probably have some type of entertainment event. So I wouldn't say that, but it all depends on what they wrote in the grant. G Herbal LLC. They received $13,000, but then they took it back out and said, no, we're not giving you $13,000. Why would you even put it in there? Then they put it back. EMS specialist, $32,000. You know, it's stuff like that. D-Lo Entertainment, $500 for about 5 months. DJ Experience, they subtracted $10,000. Maybe they're trying to clean up, because this is from, well, they say entry date 2023. So I don't know if they knew the FBI was on them then, but maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to clean up their accounting, and so they're saying, oh, you got to take that out because we don't want them to. Or they realized they was over the $1 million budget and they had to move some money around. I'm assuming. This is just speculation. Okay, you guys put in the chat. Let me know what you think. Let me just get to some of your comments. Aaron said Janet Jackson loved Kamala ain't black. Kamala ain't black. Sassy Walker, first time here so far, and I'm liking you. Thank you for tuning in, Sassy. Claiborne is saying she's tuning in from Montgomery, Alabama. Justin Thompson, Brett Kavanaugh. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. Tony, yeah, Dalton was paying. Tracy Gill, the trustees at the township need to ask to see the bank statement. Exactly. Yeah, we need to see what's in that account. I'm pretty sure that account, she keep on saying, oh, we're in a $4 million surplus. Or did she say $9 million surplus last meeting? We're in a surplus. Yeah, I really doubt that. You ran the village finances to the ground. You have bad financial management skills. I highly doubt that you're running in a surplus at the village Thornton Township. Judge Petty is saying, it's so crazy that my husband and I are paying $1,800 plus $400 in utilities and gas, and we make $80K a year. Yeah. You know, and you have this one individual making a little bit. I think she makes like $325,000, and she can't pay basically $1,100 in rent. She was behind $3,300. That's equates, if you're behind 3 months, that's $1,100 in monthly rent, and you can't pay that, and you got 2 people. Kennard is saying they selling call girls crab legs and cocaine out of the house. Yuck Fotu said hello, good patriots. Sydney Atkins, definitely wifey material. K Mac, she was a slumlord, so I wouldn't know nothing about an inspection. Yeah, you know what? There's an old video, I played it a long time ago, where she had this lady living in this house, and it had mold in the house. And I guess since she knew somebody, the inspection department in the village, they kept on passing her, and somebody else wouldn't inspect it, and they will fail her. So she went through that a couple of months. Now, Tiffany actually should have been facing charges anyway, just for that incident, because they actually interviewed this lady, and she said that Tiffany was still collecting a state check for her to occupy that unoccupiable mold infested place. And so I guess the community leaders, and she went through some other places to get help to stay at a hotel. because she could not stay at this place. And she's been out, in this hotel for about 6 or 7 months. So Tiffany alone should be facing trouble with that. I'm surprised they didn't even come after her for her to pay that money back, because that lady was not in that house. She was not living in that house. It was actually condemned. But, she's still around doing little dirty deeds, trying to get away from paying other people. Tiffany is great and laundering the grant money. Yeah. Kickback Henyard. Judge Petty is saying it's showing up records as Vinyls and Winter Dairy LLC. I'm not for sure. I guess I had to pull up to see if I could find it under that Open Seas Corporation to see who actually owns it. Okay. Yeah, we got to check the business records. Darren is saying she's even terrible at managing her own bills, shaking my damn head. Yeah, she's very horrible at managing her own bills. So how can we trust her to manage a government finances, a city or township finances? You can't. And Tiffany thinks the louder she talks, the more she says something, it will be true. And we know it's not true. If her mouth is moving, more likely she is lying. She's lying. It took the Village of Dalton trustees to hire a private accountant or investigator to investigate the finances for Tiffany to actually shut up. And she's keep on saying it's fake news and it's a hit piece and all that. Clickbait material. No, you can't lie. And then you get this 2-bit attorney saying, these people are not forensic accountant. Well, you don't need to be a forensic accountant to see, hey, this is not supposed to be here. If we have X amount of dollars or used to be in this bank account, and now it's only $2,000 in the bank account. They had literally $2 million in one account. And it's like $3,000 in the account now. You don't need to have forensic accountant knowledge to say, hey, something is wrong. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. All you need to know is add and subtract. And you should know how to reconcile your books. But if I'm looking at your checking account and we're paying people approved checks and none of these checks are hitting their check account, red flag, people. I don't have the money in here and we haven't cashed any of the checks that we approved. None of the checks that we approved on the vendor list or the whatever list they call it. None of those checks went through. She has 600 checks sitting on this lady's desk. But the money's still gone. Like Tammy Brown says, the bag is empty. And you keep on telling, Tiffany will tell us, scream and shout that this is a hit piece. They're lying. The evidence is not there. Well, I don't even think she used the word evidence, but she would say they're lying. Okay. You're doing this off of clickbait. It's a pony and dog show, whatever. Anyway. A jerk star will.i.am scream and shout. Right. Graffiti is saying Tiff don't know how to add and she only subtracts. She only subtracts. She's literally a deduction for real. This lady, she doesn't add no type of value to whatever she's bringing to her platform, to her job. She adds no value. She literally ruined a township in a village just under 3 years. And this is why some people will be very skeptical about voting black women in. Very skeptical. I'll be like, oh, I don't know. We got to start pulling people's credit, let alone their record. Let's pull their credit to see how they manage their finances. Because I bet you if they would have known that she meant that Good Burger, they actually evicted her because she was behind 12 months of rent. They was trying to give this lady a chance and she was behind 12 months of rent. I mean, if you would have known that, would you still, voted her in? I don't know. And whoever ran against her, they should have did more research, because I would have been blasting everything. Tiffany was literally in the news about this mildew house. Whoever ran against her, they didn't do their research, because they should have won. Anyway, they pull your credit even if you want to be a car salesman, let alone a mayor. Exactly. They pull your credit if you're a sales cardsman. What type of, if you got a job and they're gonna issue out a credit card, they pull your credit. That's because they want to see you're a good moral character. You pay your debts, and you're got your own life in order. Anyhow, let's go to our next story. Now, our next story is a very quick one. It's about Tim Walz. Tim Walz is scheduled to debate J.D. Vance in October 10th. And some people are saying, he might back out because they said he's kind of afraid of what's going to come of that. Tim Walz, he's kind of sketchy. Not kind of, he is. I'm saying kind of. He's sketchy. He has a sketchy past. About a month ago, the story kind of died down. They was talking crap about Tim Walz because of the stolen valor. Basically, he said he served in war, active duty, and he never served in active duty. He was a reservist. But you still, thank you for your service. Why you gotta one up? Then he said he retired as a major sergeant or something, some type of rank, and he actually did not. They said because he didn't fulfill his other requirements to hold that rank. I guess he has to have 2 years of some type of training, and he didn't do that. He didn't fulfill that requirement, so he retired at the rank below, some type of sergeant. It wasn't a major sergeant, but he was still a sergeant. So why do you have to lie about that, Tim? Now he went to a game, Michigan game, a Michigan game where they was facing Minnesota, and one of the students, let me just pause this. One of the students yells out, Trump 2024, and he decided that he'll flip him off.
Trump 2024, baby!
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? He has his middle finger up. Middle finger up because he doesn't know how to deal with opposition. Now, Trump might be a lot of things, and he's an extreme troller, but I bet you he's not going to go to a game and they say, Kamala Harris 2024. Trump is not going to give you the bird. He's not going to do that. He probably going to be like, oh, well, he's not. He's not going to flip off college students. He's not going to do that. And he's he's always met with extreme vitriol, especially when he's out in, giving interviews, but he will get back with you, but he's not going to flip you off. That's something he's not going to do. So Tim Walz, it says on this post, class act from yanking his special needs kid arm to flipping the bird to the college student. Joyride. And if you don't remember that, Tim Walz during the DNC, this is why I'm saying it's telltale signs how Tim Walz is a person. It's starting to be revealed that he's really not a good person. You're flipping people off, number one. Okay. And then during this DNC meeting, let me see if I still have it posted up. His kids was on the stage, and I guess the son was kind of going in the wrong direction, and he yanked them like, dude, what is your problem? But nobody's ever mentioned that. Nobody's, and of course, liberal media is not going to mention it, but he's not, he's not going to act like he's such a good father. Let me see if I can find this. No, that's Trump. I didn't know I posted so much on this. Let's see. Tim Walz. Okay, this is it. This is on the stage at the DNC conference. His son was going in the wrong direction. I guess he wasn't cooperating, and he pulling his son. Like, why are you doing that? And we know he's special needs, but you don't need to do all that. And there, some people be like, oh yeah, maybe he was frustrated, but you posted, like, what are you doing? You know your son is special needs. Why would you do that on stage? I just don't understand. And maybe his son is hyperactive. Don't know. But clearly he didn't like what his son was doing. Now, his wife, I've seen videos of her. She's real unhinged. Like, I think, their family dynamic is kind of weird, because remember when we first saw him and his wife, Tim Walz and his wife come together in that, they were in Michigan, and he was kind of introducing her, saying, hey, come on, wife, to the stage or whatever. He shook her hand. Like, why would you shake your wife's hand? Like, usually you greet with a kiss, but they shook each other's hand. And I guess, the media got wind of it. Like, what is going on? This is really weird. So he decided the next time they show each other, they greet with each other with a hug. This is, who does that? Look at Kamala. Kamala here, you grab your man by your face and like kiss him, or he grabbed her hand like, what's up, bro? Like, what is going on? I'm sorry, you guys can't even see it. I thought I was showing this to you. Let me put it back up. This is Tim Walz and his wife. I mean, who does that? That's not even normal. To me, that's not normal. And then you're grabbing your son like you're irritated by him, and maybe you are. But why are you doing that? Is that even necessary? But Tim Walz, he flipped off, and I guess let me just go back to that part because he. My bad, you guys. I don't know why the stream kicked me out. You guys put in the chat. Let me know if you're still there. Okay, my bad. My bad. The stream kicked me out. Let me just share this screen with you. So this is like I said, this is Tim Walz yanking his son. You have a special needs son, okay, and you're yanking his arm like you're so irritated by him. And then you was up at this Minnesota game. You went to this Minnesota game between Michigan and Minnesota, and somebody yells out Trump 2024.
Trump 2024, baby!
And you get mad at them and you flip them off. That doesn't make any sense. You flip them off. And this is the guy that's bringing joy back to the White House. This is the same guy. He's going to bring joy back to the White House. Now you have Tim Walz's wife. I'll show you. She's shaking his hand and stuff like that. But she's pretty out there. She was on the stage screaming. I don't know what she was screaming about, but then somebody put it on this post. Tim Walz and his wife cheering while no one is on the field is such a heartwarming story. Oh, Beto O'Rourke with his rich wife Amy watching the Michigan game today with Tim Walz and unhinged wife Gwen. This is his wife. Can we say deranged? People, If someone has eyes like this, you could just say they're crazy. This lady is crazy. Look at those. Look at them eyeballs. This lady is insane. Tim Walz's wife is a literal case of study in Trump derangement syndrome. Look at that face. That face is scary as hell. She has graffiti. She has Bates Motel energy. Yeah, right. Like, she looks crazy. I believe Kamala Harris, this was a horrible pick for her. Tim Walz is worse than her. You think nothing will get worse than Kamala Harris? No. Tim Walz and his wife is way worse than Kamala Harris. Way, way worse. I believe I got a super chat. Shannon AZ, thank you for your super chat. Shannon, just like the Clintons, who I never saw affection with. Yes, very just like the Clintons. I think once that video dropped of Monica Lewinsky, or they found out that he did have sexual relations. I never had sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky, and once they found out he did have sexual relationship with Monica Lewinsky, you could see Hillary Clinton light bulb just went out. Oh, I'm supporting my man. No. She was just there to get her political career started and to have that Clinton name. And you could tell when Hillary is up in front talking to the media, Bill Clinton is in the background rolling his eyes. Like, he probably like, here's this bitch go again. We got to hear this again. No affection at all. No affection. Okay, so that's that. You guys put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. Anger mismanagement, that's the guilt look. They know damn well Marxism isn't allowed under the Constitution, but they getting away with it. Exactly. Judge Petty, like I said, those kids was in a dish of turkey base. Rihanna said Mrs. Walz said she opened her windows so she could smell the smoke from the BLM fires while the city burned. That's some crazy, crazy stuff. Crazy. She's a nut job. Okay, the last story I want to talk about is this ICE report. Okay. This ICE report is pretty alarming. And we have the mainstream media, they barely mentioned it. I believe, of course, Fox News, they mentioned it. Actually, they did a couple of hit pieces about it. But it just broke. This report was sent on September the 25th to Representative Gonzalez, and they actually are documenting pending charges, convicted criminals, currently detained, and non-detained. So, currently detained is not the problem. The problem is the non-detained, you guys. The non-detained, convicted criminals, 425,000 convicted criminals. These are illegal immigrants that's roaming across the United States and they don't know where they at. 222,000 illegal immigrants are roaming the United States and they have pending criminal charges. That's on this report. This is a 5-page letter from the U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement sent to the Honorable Tony Gonzalez, U.S. House of Representatives. Okay? And they said they apologized on the delay. Before I read the letter, I'm just going to let this play out. And they're talking about illegal immigrants charged with child sex crimes, and there's no vetting process.
Have arrested 4 illegal immigrants on Nantucket.
You guys put in
Island
chat,
for child sex
please let me
crimes,
know if
despite
you could hear
disturbing-
this video.
disturbing charges. All of them were released from local custody before now being held by federal agents. Here to react is retiring acting ICE director and Fox News contributor Tom Homan. So why were they in the country to begin with, Tom? How were they allowed to cross the border? Was there no information about that before we decided to just grant them parole?
No, look, I've been saying for over 3 years, Lawrence, there's no vetting process. They say they vet these people, but American people need to know. We don't have access to other countries' criminal databases. So when they vet them, they're vetting them through NCIC, our system, NCIC III, state systems. So unless they have a record in the United States based on their fingerprints, we don't know who they are or what criminal record they are. If they come from El Salvador, Guatemala, or Venezuela, we don't have access to that information. So when we take your fingerprints and run them, we're running them against our databases. So vetting process is terrible, and that's why we keep seeing these criminals coming to our attention that were released by this administration. I want to add one more thing. You talk about the child sex crimes. Under Kamala Harris, we have over 500,000 children have been smuggled into the United States, separated from their families, smuggled by criminal cartels, and released in the United States. That's your failure as the borders are. And I mean, add this. They've released these people to so-called sponsors. They don't vet properly. Now they can't find 148,000 children or their sponsors, and I guarantee you, based on my 3.5 decades of investigative experience, these children are in forced labor, or they're in forced sex trade, and they're living a life of hell. This administration, what they've done on the border is disgusting.
You know, Tom, when we look at it, we can just throw this full screen up because it's just egregious. One of the illegals that is responsible for this, 11 counts of sex crimes. You got a rape of a child, indecent assault, raping minors, a battery of a 14-year-old, battery of another 14-year-old. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And every single time, Tom, because you're right, we don't have the infrastructure, we don't talk to every single country, especially the ones that they're fleeing for a reason, and then we just give them a notice to appear, as if they're just gonna come back to us.
Then even when they lose their case, Lawrence, you and I both know, Secretary Mayorkas has told ICE, you can't remove somebody, arrest somebody for simply being here illegally. They got to be convicted of a serious offense. So the door's wide open. And look, it's not only the criminals coming across. We brought 500,000 children in this country.
They need to change that. Why can't you arrest somebody because they're over here illegally? Why can't you? Because they're under asylum. They're under the asylum protection. No. Or what they call DACA protection. No, they need to get rid of that. Rid of that. They shouldn't be over here. You allow them to come over here. And then, I guess this administration is Americans last. Because why would you put your own people at risk? Because you're trying to be the bigger person? Or what is it? I just don't understand. What are they actually trying to accomplish by letting anyone over here without doing the proper vetting? Are you trying to have this chaotic country and so you could say, oh, I fixed this problem. Look at me, I'm a hero, but you caused the problem. You want people running scared to depend on the government so much? Or do you want like tyranny so you could create some type of chaos so they could produce more laws so they could suppress the American people or oppress the American people? What is the end goal here? I'm trying to get what is the end goal, because you can't love somebody that much and you don't love your own people. You don't love your own American citizens. And Senator Mayorkas, or whoever this guy is, Mayorkas, I think he's over the border or Homeland Security. He should have been fired a long time ago. As soon as that lady that resigned, she was over Homeland Security, a second in command. As soon as she said, we don't know where, I think they was missing 94,000 or maybe it was 64,000 kids at the time. As soon as she said, oh, I don't know, he should have got the boot too. You're missing kids, like whole children. Whole children. And I don't know, we gave them a 1-800 number. And you don't follow up with them. So you know they're being misused and abused. You just let them over here to get trafficked and taken advantage of.
And that's why President Trump pushed back on that Senate bill, because that Senate bill says 4 to 5,000 illegal aliens a day are okay. But you know what was? No, they did a carve-out in that bill, and people don't understand. In that bill, they did a carve-out. Unlimited children. Children weren't even counted to the 4 or 5,000 limit a day, which would entice more child trafficking to the United States. So President Trump did the right thing by pushing back on that bill. It would have enticed more sex trafficking of children.
Well, the whole bill was just smoke and mirrors, and the Republicans that signed on to it only gave the Democrats the ammo that they needed because it was a terrible bill. Tom, you know that because you've been doing it for over 30 years. Thank you so much for joining the program.
Well, not only, the Republicans that was in office at the time where they presented that bill, the border bill that Kamala Harris keep on talking about, Donald Trump killed the bill. It had nothing to do with Donald Trump. It had everything to do where you wanted to, I wanted to stop that. I had that in my ear. You wanted to have foreign aid going to another country, number one, 4 to 5,000 people a day, like 250,000 people that you wanted to come in monthly without any questions. And then I did not know that that number did not include the children. And we already know America is the hub for sex trafficking. So protect our children is not one of your priorities. If you really are concerned about children, number one, and you're supposed to have the American people, favoring the American people, actually making laws and legislation for the American people, you just proved to us that you don't have American people in mind when you're coming up with this craziness to overwork the system, to bring all these illegal immigrants for us to take care of them and for them to be exploited. You told them to come over here and now they're being exploited. And then on top of that, you have your criminals coming over here. The criminals are coming over here. They said as of July 21, 2024, Sorry, my bad. As of July 2024, there are 662,000 non-citizens with criminal histories on ICE national dockets. 13,000 of them are criminally convicted murderers, Gonzalez said in his statement. Americans deserve to be safe in our communities. In the statement occupying the latter, ICE took aim at so-called sanctuary cities, which refused to cooperate with the federal law enforcement in deporting illegal immigrant criminals. This is why citizens, if you're living in these so-called sanctuary cities and you're an American citizen, you should be calling your local and state government to tell them you do not want to be a sanctuary city no more. Because all you are doing is harboring these criminals. Because they don't need to cooperate with ICE. ICE recognized some jurisdictions are concerned that cooperating with federal immigration officials will erode trust with immigrant communities. Who gives a damn? Who gives a damn? We don't care. It make it harder for local law enforcement to serve those populations. However, sanctuary policies can end up shielding dangerous criminals. They need to find out. You do the crime, you do the time, or get deported. They don't trust you no way. You act like immigrants or illegal immigrants is coming up to you talking about they need help. They don't trust you. They just like black folks. They don't trust the police. It's also stressed DHS efforts to move illegal immigrants. From mid-2023 through the end of July 2024, DHS removed or returned more than 893,000 individuals, including more than 138,000 individuals in family units. The majority of the individuals encountered at the southwest border over the past 3 years have been removed, returned, or expelled. So you're saying that you literally removed 1 million people, average 1 million people, and you still have approximately 600,000 criminals over here with pending charges? Over 600,000, 650,000. Look at this staggering number. We have 62,000 of this convicted criminal. Now, these are non-detained convicted criminal. 425,000 a total. 62,000 are assaults. Burglary, 14,000. Sex offenses, 2,200. Dangerous drugs, 56,000. Fraudulent activities, 15,000 or almost close to 16,000. Forgery, 7,500. General crimes, 10,000. Homicides, 13,000. Immigration, 51,000. Well, all of them should be immigration. You should say 425,000 immigration. All of it's immigration. Kidnapping, 2,500. Invasion of privacy, 3,800. Larceny, 18,000. Larceny theft? Robbery. Larceny and robbery, isn't that the same damn thing? Well, robbery, I guess I come in contact with you and I got some type of weapon. That's 10,000. Obstructing the police. Sexual assault, 16,000 people. 16,000 criminals. Smuggling, 218. You got stolen traffic offenses. Of course, they're not used to our traffic. Some of them probably don't. Probably the first time driving on the right side of the road. So that's pretty high, 77,000. Weapon offenses is 13,000. And then the one pending criminal charges It's just as bad. You know, dangerous drugs, 13,000. You got all these things that they're saying that basically what the immigration office or what ICE is saying. We know they're over here, but our hands is tied. Regarding the number of declined detainers since fiscal year 2021 and 2022 through July 2022, 2024, ICE lifted 24,000 detainers. Of those, 23,000 were declined by state and local law enforcement agency, and 1,200 were lifted due to insufficient notice to ICE. So they're talking about they just let the criminal charges go or lift it from detainers and let them free. That doesn't make any sense. And this is from Patrick Lechner, deputy director, and he CC'd a bunch of people. Nobody's discussing this. You know, of course, the Republicans are discussing this, but mainstream media, they're not talking about it. And I guess they're refusing to talk about it. They want to say, you know, Kamala Harris is going to fix this problem once she's elected into office. I guess she visited a border not too long ago. I think it was Friday or Saturday.
Of then Senator Kamala Harris from a parade in 2018 is now resurfacing. Fast forward to today, and the Democratic nominee is reportedly planning to visit the border as she tries to flip the script on her far-left stance. This spring in our panel, Mark Penn, former Clinton advisor, and Alex Castellanos of Purple Strategies, co-founder and chairman, of course. She's had many positions on the border. What do you think about this idea, Mark, that she's...
Good question, Outcast. No, these are illegal immigrants that shouldn't even be over here. You guys, black on, but you know, we talk about police crime and gun violence in the United States. I'm going to pull that stat up. It has nothing that I'm pretty sure those stats are not included, because if there was, it would be way higher. Way higher.
Going to go to the border now, 42 days before the election.
Oh, I think that's the last thing she should do. She is trying to avoid the issue of the border as much as possible. She's actually gaining steam by pushing the economic issue and bringing that to the fore. And she's put out a few economic plans that have been more or less unchallenged. I don't think her going to the border makes any sense at all. Frankly, that plays right into Donald Trump, who wants to make the border the #1 issue.
Alex, if you look at the recent Fox News poll from last week, Trump versus Harris on the issue of immigration, Trump at 54%, she was at 44%, and this was on the question of who do you trust to do a better job on immigration. But in a way, does her going there at least say that she's not hiding from the issue?
Well, she should hide on this issue, because showing up at the border now with her trowel and mortar and, well, I'm going to keep working on that wall I've been building for the last 3 years. No, it's a little bit like the mugger who beats you up, showing up in a hospital gown saying, wait a minute, let me take you to the hospital. Kamala Harris is not running just against Donald Trump. This new centrist Kamala is running against old woke Kamala and a lifetime history on the left. And she's having a hard time beating that Kamala now. So there's a certain insulting cynicism and arrogance here, because when you show up as a completely different person like this, oh, I'm at the border now, I've been with you all along, it's telling voters that, oh, we don't think you're smart enough to notice we've changed. And at the end of the day, that's why among independents in the Fox poll, they thought Kamala Harris was not as honest as Donald Trump.
The other big issue is the economy and grocery prices in particular. President Trump had a way to deal with that yesterday. Watch him here.
It's going to go down a little bit. It just went down $100.
Thank you so much.
We'll do that for you from the White House, all right?
Thank you.
All right, bye.
So showing his ability, Mark, to reach out, be there with people. And of course, he's got an extra 100 to help out somebody there and get a little viral moment in a good local news market.
Yeah, no, he's done a few good things. I think the Gutfield interview has been pointed out as probably his best interview. His grandchild asking everybody to vote for him, that issue. But, you know, look, the truth is, though, the campaign hasn't really landed the economic issue on Harris. Harris has put out a few proposals about housing, about price controls, and he has been unable to kind of broaden out his lead on the economy. He's held it, but it's narrowed. But things like this, of course, you know, are better for him than not.
And on grocery prices from that same poll, are grocery prices a major problem for your family? 66% of people said yes, 60% said housing cost as well, and 48% at gas prices. Grocery prices, Alex, people are paying a lot of attention to it. You buy them every day.
You buy them every day. You have to shop around. You're careful about how you plan your meal now. You have to cut back. But it's also about something bigger. You know, Donald Trump, a lot of folks, independents especially, think, gosh, he did a really good job. My economy was better. My life was safer. But I worry that his strength can be reckless. And then all of a sudden we see him like this in a grocery store. Wait, you mean he's one of us, not one of them? He understands my life? I love to see Donald Trump in these more intimate settings because I think those independent voters say, wait, he's an outsider. He's for change, something that's going to help my everyday life. I think this is a great move by the Trump campaign, not just to yell at people in rallies, but to get him on our screens and bring him home to us.
Yeah. Interesting. Mark, Alex, love having you on the show. 42 days to go. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think Donald Trump, everybody knows he appeals to like the American people. I don't think there's a question about that. I think the question is if Kamala is, I guess she's trying to appease to the American people, trying to feel like, oh, I'm one of the people, you know, I'm just like you. She goes on these rants saying, hey, I grew around people in the middle class and the people that care about their lawn. My mom saved just enough money to buy our first home. These are all lies. Donald Trump doesn't do that. You know, he knows he grew up a certain way. But reason why Donald Trump is favored with the American people because he's genuine. Kamala Harris is not. Before I show you another clip about Kamala Harris, this is Fox News Network evening newscast barely mentioned new ICE report of the 425,000 criminal migrants free in the U.S. They mentioned it on Lester Holt mentioned something about 13,000 people that were convicted of actual a violent crime or murder. But that's all they mentioned. They didn't go into details about the numbers. And this is them talking about that. Oh, my bad.
Got out of it. How will the voters respond in your mind to this sudden revelation that she's a border hawk?
Well, first of all, good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's off to a great day. Look, it's a joke. I mean, really, it's hard to even conceptualize how this is a tight race at all. Kamala Harris has failed at literally everything she has done, most importantly being the border czar. As we all know, President Trump pretty much had the border secure. And then Kamala Harris and Joe Biden came in. Over 3 million came in the first year, over 3 million the second year, well over 4 million. We don't know if that number is 16, 20 million. And every state's a border state. Look, Wisconsin, They just had an article about the 1,000 people that got dropped into Whitewater, a small town of about 14,000 people. It's caused a huge mess. The budget, the access to housing, health care, all these issues. Then the crime issue. Why is President Trump going to Prairie du Chien? Because 2 weeks ago, a woman was violently raped and brutalized, as well as her, I think it's her daughter, they would never say. But we've had crime all over our state. So I don't think people are buying this at all.
What do you think is going to happen in Wisconsin? I mean, you're in a tight race with Tammy Baldwin. All eyes are on Wisconsin. You see Kamala Harris clearly feeling the pressure, having to go down to the border and pretend like she cares about that issue because, as you said, every state is a border state, including Wisconsin. And that story is horrific that you just talked about. Where do we stand here? What does it look like from being on the ground for Trump and also for yourself?
Look, we're the ultimate battleground state. We're a center-right state, but, it's going to be a center-right state, but me and Senator Baldwin, who's so extreme left, are basically in a dead heat. Same with President Trump and Vice President Harris. So whoever wins this state will not only win the presidency, but also will determine the control of the Senate for not just 2 years, probably 4 years. So look, I'm running as hard as possible. Her whole campaign has been about lies. She's extreme on everything, pushing a bill to require guys to go into girls' bathrooms and locker rooms playing girls' sports. She sent money to a transgender clinic here that does this with children without notifying parents. She voted to give illegals cash while we have veterans struggling. So this is a critical battleground state. Look, I'm doing everything we can. I'm just going to say to everybody, we've got to do everything, everyone out there, to save this great country. I'm in this race for one reason. I love my country, America, and we're losing it. Let's just face facts. They've done so much damage. So we got to win. I've got to win this race. If you can help out, send some money to ericupney.com. But we all have to do our part, talk to our friends or neighbors to make sure we win in November.
Eric, one last quick question for you. The Secret Service has moved that rally for Donald Trump. You're talking about how critical the state is. Donald Trump clearly trying to rally his supporters. They've moved his rally indoors. Do you feel like this is getting politicized, that, his rallies are having to be under some sort of, control? How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that it should have been outdoors, or do you think they did the right thing?
Honestly, I'm not quite sure why they would have to move it in, because we don't have a lot of tall buildings. So you would think they'd be able to protect him. When they did the one up in the Wausau area, they did it right there on the airport where he flew in, landed his Trump plane, and it was very secure. So you may be right, Rachel. They may be politicizing it, but, I never want to go too far there because I don't know all the ground. But think of how sad this is. We've had a president twice almost assassinated. So it just tells you the state of politics we're in right now and why we've got to take this country back.
The state that we're in is kind of crazy. It's very polarized. I will encourage everyone to actually talk to your neighbors and persuade them, even your family members, even though they might not want to hear your talking points. But, start laying out this information. Hey, do you really want to have 4 years or 4 more years of this? Because it doesn't look good. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about the auto industry. You guys, it doesn't look good. Not only Chrysler is suffering in the auto industry, General Motors, they just announced that they're going to be laying off a whole bunch of people. So it doesn't look good. I think we're going to be heading into a recession. Some of Kamala Harris policies, just like the ones that the unrealized capital gains tax, that's going to be very detrimental. People talking points like, you don't have $100 million. No, but just imagine if you did have $100 million, you're the person that's really controlling the stock market. So now I got to pull out money out of the stock market to pay that this imaginary unrealized capital gains tax. Is this, well, how are you going to initiate that? How are you going to quantify an unrealized capital gains tax? So now I got to sell off a bunch of stock, and then that would probably upset the stock market. Who's going to be the brunt end of that? If you have a 401k policy in your job, you are going to be affected by this policy. You don't need $100 million. You're the little man. You're going to be totally affected by this policy. So, that talking point like, oh, you don't have $100 million, so you don't have to worry about it. You sound stupid. It's very unintelligent because one action has a reaction. And we're talking about stock markets. We're talking about real estate. The people that actually have the money in their market, if they pull their money out the market, how's your stock gonna look? You know how they were saying those rug pulls on cryptocurrency? I don't know if you guys follow cryptocurrency, but these meme coins, people were setting up meme coins, and they will get all the hype into the meme coins. People invested, and then they have the majority coins in the particular meme coin. And once it get high, they pull out. So everybody else start pulling out. And then your stock or coin is devalued to nothing. That's the stock market. That's what's going to happen. So when you hear people telling you that, you just need to explain to them, no, it's going to affect you. If you have a 401k at your job, or if you have just a 501 account or money market account, it's going to affect you. This one last thing I want to share with you guys about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, I'm going to talk about Kamala Harris probably every day, okay? Because I want you guys to realize that Kamala Harris, she's a fake person, okay? This woman, I don't know what show this is, some type of podcast, but it had Matt Barnes on here.
Come on. Yeah, no, that's exactly.
Matt Barnes is on here. And I forget what this guy's name is, but same, you guys put in the chat. I forget, it slipped my mind, but this is the guy that he tried to get his fiance to sign a prenup agreement, and she wouldn't sign it. So he called off the wedding after he spent close to $400,000 on this wedding, but she wouldn't sign it. He really dodged that bullet, but that's neither here nor there. Surprised he's sitting up because this dude is a smoker. He's kind of hood. He's sitting up in this checker suit talking to they being fake and she being fake just along with Kamala Harris is talking about, oh, I love Doritos, and you got to have a napkin because you got, you get cheese sauce on your hands. Like, shut the hell up. Ooh, I love me some Doritos. Like, the things that she might be real, but she's been so fake for so long. I think everything she does is fake. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the boy that cried wolf, he cried wolf so much, nobody believes him. That's Kamala Harris.
One of my guilty pleasures, especially when I'm on the road, are my Doritos.
Oh, what flavor?
Nacho. Old school, original. Come on. Come on. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. That's exactly. Gotta have a napkin nearby, right?
Yeah.
One of my guilty pleasures.
And they don't know how to take her. This is not even a, and you're saying you love Doritos. All the while, people in North Carolina, I think 89 people, the numbers are growing, have died from this hurricane. And you sitting up doing interviews with Matt Barnes. And Donald Trump is out on the ground. meeting with normal day citizens.
One of my guilt.
And you're talking about guilty pleasures. When I'm on the road, I eat Doritos. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit if my family passed away because I think the levee broke in North Carolina, or one of the dams broke in North Carolina. And I believe it was a total the last I've heard, it was like 89 people passed away. It tops 100. North Carolina. Supplies arrived by plane and mule to North Carolina as Helene death tolls top 100. This Tennessee Governor Bill Lee surveyed flood damage in the eastern part of the state after Hurricane Helene hit the area with heavy rains. You know, you have all these people. And if I was Kamala Harris, this is an opportunity missed. And now she's probably getting a lot of shit. Hey, you're gonna say something about this hurricane. You can't have. I'm not saying she should know everything, but you should have people in place. Hey, you know, there's over 100 victims, and this is unprecedented. Besides Katrina, unprecedented. Besides Katrina had a higher death toll. But you have these people out here suffering in this election season. We don't want to use it as an opportunity to get a photo op, but no, we need to show the American people we are a president that we put Americans first. We're going to provide aid. We're going to make this a natural disaster, or declare it a natural disaster so you can get aid as fast as possible. We're going to get troops down here, maybe the reservists, to help build dams and do all that stuff. That's what they used to do back in the day, by the way. The National Reservists used to go around and help if they had a natural disaster, like with flooding and stuff like that. Kamala, you're the chief, commander in chief. Come on, where's your leadership here? But instead, you have Donald Trump going around North Carolina, and this is a battleground state. That's why the more you should be there. You should be in place in North Carolina, saying, "Hey, I'm here for you. I'm here for the American people." No, but you're sitting in this cozy interview, talking to your NBA stars because you think it's popular, talking about Doritos.
One of my guilty pleasures, especially when I'm on the road, are my Doritos.
Oh, what flavor?
Nacho. Old school, original.
OG,
Come on.
Yeah. OG.
Come on.
Red bag.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
Red bag.
That's exactly. Got to have a napkin nearby.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Struggling for groceries and rent.
And then they asking the same question. I'm get tired of all these black folks. You guys don't recognize what people are struggling for. This guy just spent $400,000 on a wedding he never had. Come on now. And you talking about struggling for groceries. But let's listen to what they're saying. This is the last thing I'm going to show you guys. Then we gonna call it a night.
Going from a show to a whole entire company, what is your economic plan moving forward for people who are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling for groceries and rent and homeowners?
So look, I grew up. So my sister and I were raised by our mother. We lived for a long time in an apartment on top of a child care center. That child care center was actually owned by a woman who lived 2 doors down from us, Mrs. Shelton, who was by all of our accounts and feelings, our second mother. She helped raise us. And so she was a small business owner. So I'll start with the small business, and congratulations on what you guys have done. I, from a child, knew who our small business owners are, right? I mean, you're business leaders, but you're also civic leaders. You take seriously your voice and how you can mentor, how you can grow, right? Communities and the sense of communities. I love our small businesses. And so a lot of my work in terms of building and growing the economy has focused on small businesses. And my vision overall is we need to build an opportunity economy in which we increase opportunity for all, including small business owners. So a lot of my work, even in the Senate, was about increasing access to capital through our small businesses, and in particular through our community banks. So I've been responsible for billions of dollars more now going into our community banks, because they're in the community, and then they know who's in the community and where the talent is and who's doing good in the community, what the community wants. And so part of my plan as president, one of my guilty pleasures is,
why did they stop like
especially
that?
when I'm on the road, that's exactly right. That's exactly, got to have a napkin nearby. Right?
Yeah.
Example, I helped write the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act when I was in the United States Senate. People by the hundreds of thousands marched, rightly, out of pain, out of knowledge, out of commitment.
I don't know. I guess they skipped over the economic plan. I'm not for sure. They just cut the video off. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, we heard that you lived on top of a store, and the lady down the street owned the store. You thought she was a second mama, and the small businesses are the heartbeat of the community. We heard that all before. Tell us something different, Kamala, and answer the damn question. Anyway, $2 from Taurus Prince. Thank you. Kamala needs to take her earrings off. Does she still have them on? They claimed they was, let me see. Yeah, those are the same earrings. They said those are earphone earrings. Now, I'm not for sure if it is, but I still don't believe she's so rehearsed. She's starting to throw little other pieces in there, but it's still the same thing. Give us another story, Kamala. If you really lived in the hood, or she says she grew up middle class. If you really lived in the middle class, what other stories do you have? You just had that one story. She can't give us no other stories, you guys. Somebody gave her that story because when she left the United States, she was still young. She went to elementary school in Canada all the way through high school. So she doesn't have any other stories that could pull at the American people. So this is a fake story that we're hearing. She doesn't know what it is to be a business owner because she's never worked as a business owner. She doesn't own her own business. She's a career politician. That's all she knows is how to shuck and jive people because she's a politician, a career politician. Now, I'm going to look into see, she says she helped create access for small businesses. That's what her work includes while she was in Senate. I know Mark Rubio, and I'm assuming she's talking about the Small Business Committee. I believe Mark Rubio was on that committee. Senator Tim Scott. I want to say Cory Booker was on there. And it was, just a few, but I just remember Mark Rubio being on there because I end up writing him because my business They failed to process my application, and my business, they was giving me a hard time, and I end up writing him. And like 2 days later, I end up getting funding. So anyway, I'm going to check to see if she was actually on that committee or she just blowing smoke up our asses. I don't remember seeing her name. I think she's lying about that too. But anywho, you guys, I really appreciate you for sticking out with me this long. Yuck Fotu, Charles White said it best. Show me one time she is patting her head if she is black. Because you know we gotta pat her head. Pat your weave. Charleston White, he's hilarious. Those Nova H1 bubs. Yeah, that's what it is. The government businesses after their pandemic. Exactly. Anyway, you guys, I really appreciate every single last one of you. Like I said, tomorrow we'll be talking about the auto industry. So stay tuned. And I'm sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.